Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Friday, February the 24th. We got another decent sized slate for Friday night, 8 games tonight. So, as always guys, we're going to go game by game. We're going to talk through each one of these 8 games, give you guys kind of an early preview of this slate, what I do like, taking a first look on Thursday night when I'm recording this video. But before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos, if you find them helpful, please hit that like button down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, if you've never checked out PrizePicks before, PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks and use my promo code NOAH. If you do look at the bottom of the screen, when you sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And for those of you that have never heard about PrizePicks, very simple and easy site to use. It's a little bit different than DraftKings and FanDuel. Those sites you build out a lineup. You have to stay under the salary cap. You're entering it into different contests. Well, for PrizePicks, you're just playing against their projections. So they have projections posted already for some of Friday's games. You can see some of the props they have available. Obviously, they have points props, rebounds, assists, a ton of different categories. If there's anything that stands out to you, whether you think a projection is too high or too low, you just take more or less. It's as simple as that. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 6 picks, and you can win up to 25x your money on PrizePicks. So make sure to give them a try. Sign up with that promo code. Use that code NOAH when you sign up and get your first deposit matched up to $100. But yeah, guys, Friday night slate, 8 games. Let's go ahead and talk through them. We're going to try and go quickly through these 8 games. We'll start off with the first game of the night, the Knicks and the Wizards. So for the Wizards today, really the only news we're going to have to keep an eye on is the status of Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal questionable for this game. Beal's kind of been in and out this season. He's been banged up for a lot this year, but it's their first game back from the All-Star break, so he had a good amount of time to rest up. I would think Beal most likely plays today, but this will be something to keep an eye on. Obviously, if Beal is out, that benefits Porzingis, that benefits Kuzma. Porzingis and Kuzma, it's not like they're super cheap. I mean, Porzingis is 9,500. Kuzma's 7,800. I think given the savings, I would definitely rather roster Kuzma over Porzingis if I had to choose one of those two guys. But in general, I really don't see too much I like from Washington. I don't know if there's really any value worth targeting here. Even if Beal's out, I don't think there's going to be any value to go to. Maybe Denny Avia at 5,200 you could look to, but I think we'll probably have better value on the slate. So really, there's not too much to like on the Wizards. And then on the other side with the Knicks, I mean, we kind of know the deal with this Knicks team. They're going to run a fairly tight rotation. Randall, Brunson, they're going to play really big minutes. The offense is going to run through those two guys. Randall and Brunson are pretty much always playable, but you're not getting them at discounts. I mean, Randall's 9,800, Brunson's 8,800. At those price tags, neither one of them are super appealing on this slate, especially when we have 8 games and we have a lot of other options. Josh Hart's been playing pretty well since getting traded to the Knicks. Even coming off the bench, he's been pretty productive. Minutes have not been like super high, but I think his minutes will probably start to trend up at some point. He might start getting into like the 30s in minutes. Until he starts to play more, it's going to be tough to roster him at 5,800. He's worth a shot, though. Like, he's a dart throw you could take a shot on if you're playing a lot of lineups. Mitchell Robinson could maybe return for this game. If he does return, I don't think it really matters that much. I don't think it's going to make too much of an impact. And I don't really want to go to Robinson in his first game back from injury. So, yeah, I really don't see much to like in this one. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game, Cleveland and Atlanta. So for Atlanta today, not the best spot here going up against the Cavs. The Cavs are a really good defensive team. They play at a really slow pace. Tough spot here for Trae Young, but the price tag on Trae Young at 9,600 makes him a playable option. I think he'll be very low owned in tournaments. I don't expect really anyone to go to Trae. Trae's playable. DeJounte Murray's coming in at, kind of a big discount. He is 7,900. I think if I was going to roster one of the Atlanta guards, I'd rather go with DeJounte just given the savings. Neither one looked that appealing today, but I think these are two guys that can put up a big game any night. So, they're always playable in GPPs, but definitely not priorities on this slate. It's not the best spot for Clint Capella, but you would think in a matchup against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, Clint Capella is going to be needed here for his size. The minutes on Capella have not been like super high this season. He's only been playing like 26, 28 minutes a night, but he is a pretty good permanent producer. He's somewhat cheap. Honestly, he might be my favorite play on Atlanta. It is worth mentioning that John Collins is out for this game. So without John Collins, I think that makes Capella's minutes a little bit more secure. Although, for the most part, him and Okongwu are just going to split the certain minutes. But I think Capella has a little bit higher of a minute ceiling without Collins. Really don't see any value, though, from Atlanta. I mean, Sadiq Bey, I assume, will start in place of John Collins. So, like, Sadiq Bey's a playable value, but he's not really been that productive in the games he's played with Atlanta. Obviously, only like a 2-game sample, but you could maybe go to Sadiq Bey for value here. He's an option, I think, but that's really it for Atlanta. And then on the Cleveland side, Cleveland is on the second night of a back-to-back today, but I think for the most part, we can expect pretty much everyone to be healthy and to play here. Donovan Mitchell had an okay game on Monday, or on, not Monday, on Thursday night. He did decent against Boston. I can't remember how many fantasy points he finished with, but at 9,700, it's really tough to play Donovan Mitchell at this salary. He needs to put up like 60 plus to be worth this salary, and he's just not a guy that's going to consistently give you that type of upside. So I'm not really interested in Donovan Mitchell. I think Darius Garland is the better play. If I was going to play one of the two Cleveland guards, I'd rather take the savings and play Garland, who's 2K cheaper. Mobley and Allen both look okay. Evan Mobley had a really big game on Thursday. I think he's a playable option at 7,300. Garland's probably my favorite play on Cleveland, followed by Mobley. Nothing else, though, looks that great on Cleveland. And, in general, this is not a team I'm super interested in today, just given the pricing's pretty efficient here. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, Miami and Milwaukee. So we'll start off with Milwaukee. Big news from Milwaukee today is that Giannis is doubtful for this game. So Giannis is not expected to play. With Giannis not expected to play, we kind of know who's going to benefit here. Drew Holiday will benefit, obviously. Bobby Portis is going to be back for this game. He should benefit. Brook Lopez gets a little boost. Chris Middleton gets a boost. You look at the pricing, though, on these Milwaukee guys. Like, Drew Holiday is really expensive. He's $8,900. We're not really getting Drew at a cheap price tag. So even though Giannis is expected to be out today, I don't think Drew, at least on DraftKings, I don't think he's like a free square. I think he's still playable, but he's not a guy that I'm like slamming into my lineups. I think at $8,900, he's for sure priced correctly. And the same could be said for Bobby Portis. Obviously, Bobby Portis benefits without Giannis here, but it's his first game back from injury. He hasn't played in over a month. I think Portis is probably going to be limited anyway, so I don't really know if he's going to be even a playable option. Brook Lopez feels priced correctly at $6,700. The guy that really stands out is Chris Middleton. Now, Chris Middleton been coming off the bench, been pretty limited just kind of since he's come back from injury, but not on the injury report for this game. Obviously they had the full week off with the All-Star break. I think it's pretty likely that Chris Middleton moves back into the starting lineup for this game. They don't have Pat Connaughton either for this one. Pat Connaughton didn't play in their last game, but Middleton didn't play in that game either. So I think we're going to see Middleton slide back into the starting lineup, and I think he's going to play about 30 minutes, maybe more. Obviously, without Giannis, we can expect a much bigger role for Chris Middleton. So my favorite play on Milwaukee is definitely Chris Middleton. I think this price tag, especially without Giannis, makes him a very appealing option. Jay Crowder is now on the Bucks. I totally forgot about that. It looks like he's going to be available to make his debut this game. So what kind of role is Jay Crowder going to have? I don't know if he's going to... I'd be surprised if he starts. He'll probably come off the bench and play like 15, 18 minutes if I had to guess. Don't know if he's really going to be a playable DFS option, but I definitely think he kind of cuts into some of these other guys like Grayson Allen, Javon Carter, these guys' minutes, Joe Ingles might all get a downgrade. But for the most part, we kind of know where we're getting, minutes-wise from like Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, those guys. Again, Portis, first game back from injury. I'm definitely hesitant on him. He's also expensive. Drew is expensive, but I think he's still in play at $8,900. I really like Middleton at $6,300. And I think that's it from the Bucks. Nothing else looks that appealing here. So talking about the other side of this game with Miami, I don't really see too much I like on Miami today. I think Tyler Hero is probable, so he's expected to play this game. They still don't have Kyle Lowry, though. Kyle Lowry is still out, so we kind of know who's benefiting. Without Lowry, it's going to be Bam, Hero, Butler being the guys that really benefit. But you look at the pricing, these guys aren't like cheap. I mean, Bam is $9,300, Butler is $8,500, Hero is $7,300. I think Butler might be my favorite play on Miami if I had to choose one of those guys to play, but I'm not super interested in many Heat here. Obviously, Max Strus is going to continue to play a good amount, but he's $5,200. He's not like super cheap anymore. I think he's priced correctly. Still a playable option, but not a guy that I'm like running to roster. Gabe Vincent at $5K, again, feels priced correctly, not a guy I'm running to roster. And I think with Oladipo back now, that definitely hurts guys like Vincent and Strus. Makes their minutes, not as high, just because that's one more body they can give minutes to. Really, on Miami, there's not too much to like here. I don't see really much that stands out. So I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game, Brooklyn and Chicago. So for the Bulls today, Bulls are not a team I'm that interested in on this slate. I think when you're looking at the pricing here, you've got Vooch at 9,400, Levine at 8,400, and DeRozan at 7,800. I think DeRozan's my favorite of those three, just given he's the cheapest. And this season, DeRozan has been pretty equivalent in terms of like points per minute, kind of close to Vooch. Now, DeRozan, as of late, has really been bad, and prior to the All-Star break, he was really struggling, but it was reported that he was dealing with an injury before the All-Star break. Obviously, after a full week to rest, you would think DeRozan's going to be heading into this game fully healthy, so I think DeRozan is kind of poised to have a big bounce-back game at some point. He's definitely going to get back on track. The matchup here against Brooklyn is not good. Brooklyn's a really good defensive team. They added Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a really good defender. But I still think DeRozan at 7,800 looks like a solid play. He's for sure my favorite play on Chicago. I'm not really looking to any other Bulls, though. There's not too much to like on this Bulls team. So let's talk about the Brooklyn side now. Looking at Brooklyn, Mikal Bridges had a huge game right before the All-Star break. In their last game, he put up 71 DK points against Miami, played 36 minutes, had 45 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. Just a huge game for Mikal. We know that Mikal is going to have a big role, and he's going to be kind of one of the lead guys on offense for this Brooklyn team, but you're not really getting a discount on him. He's 7,400, so I'm not super interested in Mikal. I think Spencer Dinwiddie at 7,200 also feels priced about right. Playable, but not a guy that I'm like really that interested in. Nick Claxton has taken a kind of a hit lately. His minutes have also kind of come down, so he's a tough guy to trust right now until we see him get more secure minutes. He was playing big minutes, prior to the trade deadline, but ever since the trade deadline, his minutes have really started to come down. So not that interested in Claxton. Obviously, Cam Thomas has taken a big hit. Cam Johnson's been pretty consistent with Brooklyn. He's been playing pretty good minutes as a starter. His upside is pretty limited. He's not a guy that's really going to go out there and put up like 45 DraftKings points, but if he can get hot from three, grab some rebounds, I mean, he's got a path to like 30, 35 DK points, so I don't mind Cam Johnson at 5,200 as a kind of a value play. Ben Simmons, I believe, is questionable for this game, so keep an eye on this. If Ben Simmons doesn't play, I don't think it has like a massive impact, but obviously, take those 20 minutes and kind of spread them around to a bunch of different guys. That's really it, though, for this Brooklyn team. That's it for this game. Let's move on to the next one, Charlotte and Minnesota. So we'll start off on the Minnesota side. Really good spot here for Minnesota. Obviously, the Hornets, they're a bad defensive team. They play at a really fast pace. Anthony Edwards in a great spot here, 9,100. Price tag has come down on Anthony Edwards. I definitely like him as a pay-up option here. The matchup's great. The pace of this game should be great. If Charlotte can keep this game close, I think Ant offers a ton of upside in this spot. So really like Ant today. Really like Rudy Gobert as well. Obviously, Charlotte has been a great matchup for centers. It's a matchup we've always looked to target. Gobert crushed against Charlotte when they played earlier this season. He had 48 DraftKings points in 34 minutes. Look, Charlotte, they give up a lot of fancy points to centers. They really struggle to rebound. They give up a lot of points in the paint. It's just like, it's the perfect matchup. And we've seen Gobert's minutes be pretty good lately. He played 36 minutes in their most recent game against Washington, was really productive in that one. After a week off, for the All-Star break, we would think Gobert's going to be, fully healthy heading into this game. And 7,200 is definitely still, in my opinion, too cheap for Gobert. So I like both those guys quite a bit. Even guys like Mike Conley, I don't mind as kind of like a value, 5,700. Not a guy that offers a ton of upside, but obviously the matchup's really good, so I think he has a path to 30, 35 DK points here. I think that's it, though, for Minnesota. Definitely my two favorite plays are for sure Ant and Gobert on this Minnesota team. Now, on the other side with Charlotte, so LaMelo Ball has been just on a tear lately, been crushing, but the price tag is up to $11K now, so it's going to be really tough to prioritize LaMelo. I think at this price tag, he's just kind of like a low-owned GPP dart throw. He still has the upside to pay off this price tag. We've seen LaMelo go out there and put up triple-doubles. He can put up 65, 70 DK points any night. This should be a good game environment. I don't love the matchup one-on-one individually. He's probably going to see Jaden McDaniels, who's a strong defender, but again, pace of this game should set up pretty well. Don't mind LaMelo, just the price tag at $11K definitely makes him more of a GPP option. Terry Rozier and Kelly Oubre are both probable for this game. So Rozier at 7,400, he's a playable option. I think he probably draws the better matchup of the two between him and LaMelo. So I don't mind going to Rozier. Oubre is expected back for today. Don't think he's gonna be DFS viable, but he'll definitely cut into guys like PJ Washington, Gordon Hayward. Washington and Hayward, where they're priced at, I don't love either one. Mark Williams is going to continue to start at center. Going to continue to play about 30 minutes. Matchup against Gobert is not the greatest, but you would think as long as he avoids foul trouble here, we're getting 30, 32 minutes for Mark Williams, and he's been a fantasy point per minute player this season. So I still think Mark Williams is playable. Just, now that he's 6K, obviously not as good of a play as he has been the last few slates when he's been really cheap. That'll do it, though, for that game. Definitely a lot to like in that one. For sure, one of the better game environments on the slate. Moving on to the next game, though, Houston and Golden State. So for Golden State today, they're another team on a back-to-back, so we're definitely going to have to monitor their injury report. But I would assume everyone's going to be good to go here. It's already been reported that Klay Thompson is expected to play in all the back-to-backs this season, the rest of the back-to-backs. So I'm expecting Klay to play today. I would assume everyone else is going to play as well. Jordan Poole, Klay, both in really good spots here. Obviously, Houston, not a good defensive team. Houston hasn't been playing at as fast of a pace this season, but this is still a really good matchup. Poole should definitely thrive in this spot. Houston's been terrible defensively against guards. We've seen a lot of point guards, shooting guards have big games against Houston this year, so definitely like the spot for Jordan Poole. Definitely think it's a good spot for Klay as well. Both are in play for me. Draymond at 6,800 is fine too, but I just think he's priced correctly. Dante DiVincenzo, I do still like quite a bit. Now, without Andrew Wiggins, we did see DiVincenzo start on Thursday night against the Lakers. He should start again here with Wiggins still out, and obviously while Wiggins remains out, we should see DiVincenzo start, play probably 30-plus minutes. He's a decent per-minute producer. Definitely like DiVincenzo today. Probably it, though, from Golden State. We did see Jonathan Kuminga start on Thursday night, but I don't think he really did much as a starter. So even if he starts again, I'm not in love with Kuminga. Looney, if he comes off the bench, is playable, I guess. If he starts, I feel a little bit better about him. But I'm not really looking to really anyone else on Golden State. And then on the other side of this game with Houston, so Houston's going to be kind of shorthanded for this one. No Kevin Porter Jr., no Jalen Green. We can expect a really, really big role for Şengün. Blowout is definitely a concern here. Houston, without KPJ, without Jalen Green, they're going to probably struggle to put up points, but the offense is going to run through Şengün. We know Şengün's a guy that has triple-double upside, can contribute in all categories. The price tag is $7,500, is not super expensive, so I do like Şengün quite a bit today. I made him the thumbnail for this video. I think he's a strong option. The rest of Houston, though, I think there's some other plays here that look solid. Jabari Smith and KJ Martin, I think they're both going to be in line to take on bigger roles here without Green and without KPJ. So I think they're playable options. I definitely think Martin at 5,400 is my preferred of those two. And then value from Houston, Jae'Sean Tate, I'd assume he's going to start here. He's been starting lately. He's not been great as a starter, but obviously no Jalen Green now is even going to open up more usage. So I think Tate is a playable value. And then depending on who starts, I don't know what Houston's going to do with the starting lineup. I'm guessing it'll probably be Daishawn Nix that starts. Daishawn Nix has been a pretty terrible point-per-minute player this season, but if he does start at point guard at 3K, he's definitely going to be in play for value. And then if Josh Christopher starts, Josh Christopher is a guy that I would like quite a bit. We've seen Josh Christopher be a better per-minute producer this season than someone like Nix. I would definitely be more excited to roster Christopher than I would Daishawn Nix. Even if Christopher comes off the bench, I think he's still going to have to play a lot here without both KPJ and Jalen Green. So I do like Josh Christopher as well for value, but starting lineup will be important to monitor here. We'll have to wait and see what Houston does with that starting lineup, but they're definitely going to be plays to like on this Rockets team, and there's going to be some value to target here. But that'll do it for that game, I think. Let's go ahead and talk about the last two games of the night. Two more late night games, OKC and Phoenix. So for Phoenix today, still without Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant's going to be out for one or two more games. He's expected to make his debut sometime next week. So still no KD. Without KD, we kind of know that the offense for Phoenix is going to run through Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. Look, where these guys are priced at, I don't think any of them look super, super appealing. Devin Booker, did get somewhat full minutes, pretty much full minutes last game against the Clippers, played 35 minutes. Now he's had a full week to rest up with the All-Star break. So I think we can expect pretty much Devin Booker to be full go. He's going to play 36, 38 minutes if this game is competitive. The price tag at $8,700 is not super expensive. So I think on the Suns, Devin Booker is definitely my favorite play. Would probably say Ayton second. It's a really good matchup for Ayton. We've seen OKC give up big games to centers this season. OKC really struggled to rebound. They're just a good matchup in general for centers. So I think it's a good spot for Ayton. The price tag, $8,100, feels about right, but he is definitely playable here. Not really looking to many other Phoenix guys, though. Josh Okogie's been starting lately, been playing really big minutes. I think he's still in play, but his price tag is slowly creeping up, and now that he's $5,200, we're not getting an amazing discount on Okogie, but man, you look at the minutes he's been playing, 32, 35, 39, 41. I think until Kevin Durant comes back, Okoji's going to continue to play really big minutes as a starter. It looks like they will have Cameron Payne back for this game. Cameron Payne is probable, or he's questionable, excuse me. I don't know if Payne returns, if that really impacts Okoji too much. I think it'll definitely cut into, maybe Chris Paul a little bit, maybe some other guys like maybe Torrey Craig or Damian Lee, but maybe Terrence Ross lose some minutes. I think Okoji, though, is locked into big minutes right now. They seem to have a lot of trust in him, so I don't mind going him at 5,200. Him and Booker are probably my two favorite plays on Phoenix, followed by Ayton, and I'm not really considering anyone else here. And then on the other side with OKC, so it's the second night of a back-to-back for OKC. I really don't see too much that stands out here. SGA is someone you can always pay up for. I don't love this spot against Phoenix, but I will say that without Mikal Bridges, this Phoenix defense is not going to be like as strong as they have been, but I still think the spot for SGA is like not the greatest. He's a playable option, but not a priority today. Definitely other guys I'd rather pay up for. The rest of OKC, I don't see too much else I like here. OKC is kind of a full fade for me, but if you want to go to SGA, I think he's for sure in play. But that'll do it for that game. Let's move on to the last game of the night, the Kings and the Clippers. So we'll start off on the Clippers side. Really only news to talk about here is that there will be no Ivica Zubac today, so we'll talk about how that impacts things. Also, Russell Westbrook is expected to make his debut for the Clippers. So we don't really know yet what Westbrook's role is going to be on this team. We don't know if he's going to start, if he's going to come off the bench. I think he probably comes off the bench, but we'll have to keep an eye on stuff here. Obviously Kawhi and PG are going to be kind of the two lead guys on offense, for the most part. Between the two, even though Kawhi is $1,000 more expensive, I think I would rather go to Kawhi over Paul George. Kawhi's just been a better permanent producer this season. He's been playing massive minutes. He should continue to play massive minutes the rest of the season. Sure, now that Westbrook's on the team, maybe Kawhi takes a little bit of a hit, but I don't think he takes enough of a hit to really, put him out of play. So I still think Kawhi's fine. I think PG's fine too. Neither one are priority plays. Westbrook, probably not going to go there in his Clippers debut, but if he does wind up starting, I think that makes me feel better about his minutes. I think that makes it more likely that, he probably plays 30-plus minutes if he's starting. If he's not starting, then I think he probably gets like in the 20s in minutes. And at 7,100, you kind of need him to play 30-plus minutes. So unless he's in the starting lineup, I'm not super interested in Westbrook here. Do want to talk about Mason Plumlee, though. Mason Plumlee, definitely my favorite play on the Clippers. Without Ivica Zubac, I'm expecting Mason Plumlee to slide into the starting lineup. And we've seen Mason Plumlee be a really good permanent producer whenever given an opportunity. Obviously, since he got traded to the Clippers, he's not really been playing much. He's just kind of been like the backup center. But now that there's no Zubac, I think we can pencil in Mason Plumlee for close to 30 minutes. 5,100 is way too cheap for Plumlee if he's going to play anywhere near 30 minutes here. So he is definitely my favorite play on the Clippers. I have a lot of interest in him in this spot. Don't really like any other Clippers, though. Plumlee is for sure the priority here. And then on the other side with Sacramento, Sacramento is another team on a back-to-back today. There's not too much to like on the Kings. Sabonis and Fox, they're always playable options, but both are priced where they should be. $9,900 for Sabonis, $9K for Fox. Neither one stand out at those price tags. And the rest of the Kings, I've just like Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray. I really haven't been playing these guys, and it really hasn't burned me. I mean, we haven't really seen much of a ceiling from anyone else on Sacramento, so I'm not really interested in many Kings in general today. If you were going to play some Kings, I think you're probably looking to Sabonis or Fox, and that's pretty much it, I think. So I think that does it for this game, guys, and I think that does it for this 8-game Friday night slate. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, appreciate you watching. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Go check out PrizePicks as well, sponsor of the video. Sign up for PrizePicks. Use my promo code NOAH. PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. Definitely check them out if you guys have not yet. But wish you the best of luck on this Friday night slate. Hope you guys all enjoy your Friday night and you enjoy your weekend. We will see you guys in the next video. Peace.